guys, time to show off the newest Kraken 2.1 build. This one was a little bit more classy, so we've done a nice polished case for this build. So we've got kind of an opal, I don't know what we want to call it here, but I don't know, I feel it's fairly opal-esque. Polished 100 case, polished coin bezel, and then we have the polished and matte finished yachtmaster style diver insert. It's raised, so if you look around there, you've got your indices raised there. Got your milled crown here. White handset on that, since we had a lot of focus was terrible there. Since we had, let's touch the screen, make sure it knows where I'm trying to focus. Since we have the white referencing in, what is it focusing on? Why does it keep doing that? I'm sorry. I'm not sure why it keeps doing that. But you have your white referencing in your indices, so I went with a white handset on that. There's a good look on there. Brushed, milled, and engraved Kraken caseback. Then this is on a two-piece shark mesh hybrid. So you've got kind of like your engineered style brushed going up the side, and then down the middle you have your polished shark tooth, or your shark mesh, I'm sorry. Just did a wash with shark tooth bezel on there, so I'm not usually saying shark mesh. Then your brushed and Kraken engraved double lock clasp, flip up here, and that's the build. A little bit classy, shows off fingerprints, pretty easy, so you ready for that? Bezel on this will turn left, it'll turn right. It is a tension ring bezel, and I got it on there nice and tight, so that thing's not going to move unless you want it to move. It is not a click style bezel. Automatic mechanical, you've got a rotor in the back, so as you're moving and shaking, that rotor is going back and forth and putting micro winds into the movement. But before you put it on and before you set the time, go ahead and wind it just a little bit, because if you just set the time, put it on, and you're not moving around enough to start building up a power reserve, you're not going to keep time. So back the crown off the threads until you hear it and feel it clicking. You'll know you're off that crown tube. You'll have a little bit of play there. You won't have that structure anymore. And you can wind. And wind is a turn clockwise, whereas you're looking at it, obviously clockwise, whereas it's going away from you. Back towards you clicks, but it does not put any wind into it. But I often go back and forth because it's a lot easier to just put these little micro winds in there. And 4 or 5 seconds of that mixed with the rotor movement will keep your time throughout the day. If you do it for another 4 or 5 seconds, you will max out your 31-hour power reserve on it. You cannot overwind it. It's got a slipping mainspring in there, so once you have what it needs, it's just deflecting and not compressing that mainspring anymore. When you're happy with your winding, you're going to pull it to the one and only click, and you can now set your time. The seconds hand is not going to stop. It's not a hacking movement. And now you can set your time. You'll also notice you've got what's called a wobble crown. Basically a ball joint there. The stem is straight, but that is kind of rotating. That deflects lateral pressure from going into the stem and into the keyless work. So if you're pushing and prying on it a little bit, it's not putting bends and pressures into that. Alexa, what time is it? 11:45 p.m. Push this over, get it out of that time setting, and then wind it down. So much easier to hit it with some canned air, other than me pushing whatever that was around, because that's exactly what I'll do. I'll just follow my finger and stay. But that's the build. So you know on this, whenever you're wanting to size this, just look and see what direction you got to pop that pen out. Put it back in the opposite direction. You know it's tapered. One end's going to come to a point, one end's going to be folded over, That's the side that you're feeding in. You're feeding in the side that's folded back on itself. And whenever you tap it in flat, it will flatten here, but it won't come all the way to the end there. That's how you know that that's the side that you're tapping out. That recessed area is letting you get the punch in. So if you put this on and realize you got to remove 3 links, do 2 on one side, 1 on the other. Once you pop that out, you'll overlap these again. You'll see how they go, and you'll kind of hold them flat, and then you'll walk it through with your finger, and it will be sticking up, and you'll just tap it in. And make sure you keep your links nice and pretty, your extra ones, because if you scratch this up or anything like that, you're going to want to pop these out and swap in new. So, and then you have your micro. You can step this up here or here to get a little bit tighter. It is a spring bar, so you'll just walk it. I usually pop it out here, turn this on a side and click it into that one, then flip it over, pop this one out and click it into that one. It's so hard to open it up and walk it around on the, step it in and click it in that direction. So you can try it if you want, but that is to just get a little bit extra. I believe if it goes from here to here, it's about half a link. So if you need to use that, that's how you use that. As with every build, you're going to get complementing beads. This is going to come in a Kraken slider box with Atlas pillow. It's going to come with watch cleaner, which is good on all glass and metal, so your watch as a whole, non-streaking, non-toxic, non-residue, as well as a microfiber. And you're also going to get fine scratch remover. Now, although you have a polished case, this is not for that. It's for your domed acrylic glass, because you can scratch it. This is like Poly Watch, and it is exactly for that, nothing else. So if you scratch that, put a tiny bit of this on it and buff it out with your additional microfiber, and buff it out. Just generate some heat with your thumb, really work it in there. About 30 seconds of that should buff out any scratch that you put there. Now if you scratch the case, go on Amazon, grab a tin of Cape Cod cloths, cut one open, cut off a little square, and then keep that kind of in a baggie or something like that to keep it from drying out. And then just use that little square. I typically do like 30 seconds of aggressively over that scratched area, and then I flip it over and use the other side of it for 30 seconds, and that normally takes it out. If it doesn't, cut off another square and do it again. But that's the build. If it goes to you, congrats. This is going to be in tomorrow night's event. Pretty classy. So if it goes to you, congrats. It came out pretty awesome. And if you want me to build you something custom and unique, reach out and I'll see what I can do. And if you want to continue to see videos like this, like and subscribe. I put them up all the time. Thanks, guys.